And now, ladies and gentlemen, our next keynote will be delivered by Darian Kovacs, founding partner and all of the Indigenous Canadian SME Business Magazine and Jelly Digital Marketing PR agency. And with Isabel Landry. She's a senior advisor for product development for BDC. This session is about 3 keys to building a successful digital adoption plan. Now, more than ever, we need to keep pace with our rapidly evolving global markets. Digitization is crucial to drive business growth and strength. The Canadian Digital Adoption Program, CDAP, is a $4 billion initiative that was introduced in 2021. Now, the Government of Canada introduced this to help businesses get online, increase their e-commerce presence, and to help digitalize business operations. Join us now for an interactive session with one of BC's CDAP Stream 2 approved digital advisors as they speak to the key elements of building a successful digital adoption plan. Stream 2 eligibility requirements include companies must have at least $500,000 of annual revenues in one of their previous 3 years. Please join me in welcoming Darian Kovacs and Isabel Landry.
It's a real honor to be here. We're going to tag team this session for all of you because when you go to the Canadian SME Business Expo 2022, you don't just get one person at the presentations, at the keynotes. You get two. You get two people. So, and those that are French speaking, Isabel might bust out some French just because she can. She might bust out some hip hop dance moves. I don't think so because it's just the head. Even if she did, you'd be like, well, I want to see those moves, but I just see her face. You know what? Random fact for you. When I turned 30 years old, one of my gifts to myself was I took hip hop dance lessons because I never got to do them when I was a teenager. So I went and my friend Sean Fraser also wanted to do hip hop. So the two of us got these private hip hop dance lessons and it was amazing.
You can register to my class. I used to be a teacher, but I ended my career a few years ago when I had my son.
Did you watch Canada's Got Talent this year and saw some of the hip hop that was at the dance troops? No, okay, it was quite cool. I love the Jabberwockies is one of my favorite dance troops.
Yeah, they're good.
They're beautiful to watch and very imaginative. So, Isabel, why don't you let people know who you are, where you're from, Montreal, BDC. Give them the kind of the architect of the BDC loan program for CDAP.
Yeah. So so I'm from BDC. I work for BDC for now a bit more than 15 years, and I'm a senior advisor at BDC for financing product. But for the CDAP, I was involved in the design and the put together everything to make the loan happen. So that's why I'm here, and that's what I'm going to talk about later after you, Dorian.
Very cool. So I'm Darian Kovacs, proud Métis here in Fort Langley, British Columbia. So the birthplace of BC, place where if you watch Sonic the Hedgehog 2, it's where a lot of it was filmed, or the latest Hallmark movies were filmed here in beautiful Fort Langley. Also Riverdale, if you watch Riverdale, which is the TV remake of the Archie Andrew comic book series. Without further ado, I'm going to share my screen here. And we're going to get into what our topic is all about instead of just talking about hip hop. 3 keys to successful digital adoption plan. So we're living in a time, 2022, a lot going on in business. And I think one of the biggest conversations a lot of business leaders are having is not just recession and what's happening coming up down the pipeline. And with that, how do we become recession proof? But how do we adopt digital technology and how do we do it well? I want to talk about 3 ways that we're seeing companies adopt digital technologies well. And really, I'm going to pose them as questions. So the hope here is that you might want to screenshot this page. If you're a screenshot type of person, if you're a note-taking type of person, you might want to jot some of these notes down. Maybe you still use pen and paper, which would be amazing. If you do, I would love to see your pen and paper notes. Tweet it over to me. Email it, whatever, fax it, whatever format you want to do. I would love to see your notes from today's session. But these are the 3 questions, kind of big picture questions that we all should be asking ourselves when we think about digital adoption strategies. And I think what goes really in line with that, especially with what's happening culturally in Canada, is how do we stay recession proof? So the first question is, what are the key processes that I need to help my business? So you might use the term SOP, which stands for Standard Operating Procedure. Do you have those in place? Do you have it for marketing data? Do you have it for language that you use as a company when it comes to monitoring your business objectives? How do you communicate each month to your stakeholders, customers, and I think really more importantly, potential customers? How are you reaching them? What are the processes in place that you have for internal communication and external communication? And third one that kind of goes in line in kind of this family of questioning, what are the monthly actions I need to take to grow my business? I know this is a bit more of a contemplative session, possibly. We're going to think about these things, but which I think is so great because sometimes in life, we just need to pause every once in a while and pause, stop, collaborate, and listen and look around to see what's going on around us when it comes to our own business. Because I think it's so easy sometimes in the midst of kind of worry and stress to just kind of feel like a hamster on a wheel, or to be scurrying about, or to be kind of constantly doing, when sometimes it's okay to just pause for a moment. And maybe it's just during the session, you're going to kind of put us on mute after this page and just think about those questions. And it's really, really helpful and important. Second big question being, what information would help me run my business better? So what information can you pull from Google Analytics? Do you have Google Analytics set up, first of all? And then if you do, what information should you get from it? Because again, there's over 3,000 points of information from Google Analytics. What are the most important pieces that would help you make good, wise decisions? And ultimately, how do you work smarter, not harder? And some of the things you can learn in Google Analytics is, where is traffic coming from? Where is qualified traffic coming from who come to my site and convert? What are my social media stats telling me? There's incredible data on the back end of Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, telling you about all the demographics of your customers and of your fans. And it's really great data that can help inform maybe the next product, the next service offering that you provide. And lastly, what information can I pull from my competitors or companies leading the pack? We live in a time where information is accessible. I am a big fan, living in Canada, of the fact that there is information available of what sort of ads are running for me, what sort of data is out there that is coming at me, what sort of ads are being placed for me because of who I am and what I've offered and given to Facebook with information, what ads are coming at me on Google. And because of that, as a business owner, I can then even see what sort of ads are my competition running, how much are they spending, what ad platforms are they using, what sort of ad copy are they using. All of that is accessible today. There's an old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. When it comes to digital adoption, that's one method you could use. Or another old saying that says, know thy enemy. So not saying your competition is your enemy, but saying if you want to know how to become better, sometimes looking at your competition. Or what I like doing, I like looking at people who are like 5 years ahead of me, or companies in my arena who are like, man, I love what TalkShop is doing, or I love what Major Tom is doing. I really admire what they're doing. And how can I be more like that? The third line of questioning, and this is the final one, what technology should I be adopting in 2022? I think the biggest issue we can have sometimes is there's so much technology out there. There's so many options out there that we can have what's called paralysis by analysis. We can spend so much time trying to figure out the right technology that we don't do anything. We don't actually take action. Should we integrate the new Google Analytics that's happening? There's right now your Google Analytics is called Universal Analytics, but Google released a new one called GA4. And what does that mean for my business? What new information am I going to be getting from it? How do I adopt it into my business? And what information do I no longer have access to? Do I need to be adopting Facebook, Google, or Bing ads? And which of those three? And I know some of you might be laughing, thinking, Bing ads? Microsoft Bing? That's still a thing? You don't just use it to, Google how to get to Google? But there are people who have computers. They've got firewalls. They've got security set up. And so they only have Microsoft Edge as their browser. I know it sounds crazy. You might not understand this. And they only have the search in there, and the default search is Bing. And so there are people that use Bing, and the affordability of Bing ads, the environment and the people that you can access through Bing ads is pretty amazing. And also think of the demographic of people who have downloaded a PC computer, maybe aren't the most sophisticated when it comes to downloading Chrome or another browser, and they just Bing away. And you can reach those people through some really smart ads. And last but not least, what are some SEO tools and SEO adoption that you can apply? search engine optimization, showing up in the first page of Google, the first 3 spots of Google organically is what I think is one of the coolest kind of David and Goliath stories out there. The fact that any small micro business can take on large corporations if they are smart enough, sharp enough, put enough energy and time into doing really smart SEO. And because of the way that Google works, being agnostic, sure, you can play the pay-to-play version and do some Google AdWords, but showing up organically, we as Canadians statistically show we tend to lean towards looking at the organic rankings. So how do we make sure that our brand, our organization shows up in those organic rankings? And what does that look like for us to adopt it this year? Well, you might feel like this sometimes when it is figuring out what to do for digital adoption. And maybe what we're going to talk about today is accessing money from the federal government. Feel like you're typing away, trying to access it, and you get nowhere. Or maybe you finally find that application where you can apply and you don't hear from anyone. You just sent it off. It's kind of like sending off into the wind. You kind of like, actually, my son actually tied something to the bottom of a balloon, a helium balloon, and sent it off. And actually, funny story, true story. We live in Vancouver, BC, Canada. And it was like a few weeks later, someone just south in Oregon, just south of Portland, called my wife to say, hey, I found this message, because we put in a little plastic baggie and said to call you. And we were so amazed at where this balloon had gotten. We don't encourage that anymore because of plastic and helium, and it could hurt birds. But sometimes when you send things off, you never hear from it again. We thought my son, we were just like, oh, you will never see anything back from that. But that's the thing. It can feel like that sometimes with the federal government. But ultimately, what we're here today is we're going to show you how to access the money. We're going to show you how to access the funds that you can access to help your business. So the program is called the Canada Digital Adoption Program, CDAP. Just a heads up, I do not work for the government, as you can probably tell by my attire and my hairstyle. But I don't work for ISED. I work for Jelly, digital marketing in the middle there. But this is just familiarize yourself with the look and the brand of this amazing program. So there's 2 versions of this program. If you have made in the last 3 years $500,000 and less than $500,000, so $499,000 gross in your revenue in the last 3 years, you can go to Grow Your Business Online. And they have an amazing program. There's tons of people fulfilling it right across the country. You can then apply for that program. You not only get a really cool digital advisor who can help you come up with a plan and a strategy, you then get $2,400 to implement that strategy and plan and adopt some sort of digital technology to help your business. It is amazing. It is a really, really cool program. I was just talking to someone this morning who is applying for it and what $2,400 can do. And the best part about it is because they get a plan and strategy first, the $2,400 is going to be used wisely and not flippantly and not loosely, because they'll have worked off the plan. But what Isabel and I are mostly here to talk about is the second stream, which is called Stream 2, which is boost your business, not grow your business. Boost your business with a wrench, which still, Isabel, no one ever told me why it's a wrench versus an arrow. Do you know why it's a wrench?
No idea.
No idea. Okay.
Either.
No one told us. So we're from the wrench group. We don't have any cool wrenches as giveaways or anything, although I do have jars of jelly. So if you do work with it, it's actual strawberry jelly. Isabel, I can send you one because I see the way you look at it. It's delicious. Strawberry, it's from Niagara Falls. And there's a secret website on here that allows us to send you peanut butter and bread as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah, there you go. So this program, if you in the last 3 years of your financial history have made gross more than $500,000, you are eligible for this program, which is pretty awesome. So it's 3 tranches of funding. Tranche 1, you get $15,000 to do a digital strategy and audit. So you pay for it to one of the many digital advisors that are out there. So the audit could cost you $16,500. So 90% of that is $15,000, and you get reimbursed that. The audit could cost you more, but again, you get up to $15,000 or 90% of whatever the plan cost is. And then the second tranche you get to hire a student for $7,300. So they give you $7,300 to hire this amazing student out of Ryerson's magnet program, which is now Toronto Metropolitan U magnet program. And then the third one, which is Isabel's going to talk about, which I think is the coolest program ever, you get up to $100,000 interest-free loan for 3 years. 3 years interest-free, right? 5 years. 5 years interest-free loan, not just 3 years, 5 years. It's incredible. Interest-free, 0 interest. So overview of the program, the feds put in $4 billion into this program. So my encouragement, and why you're maybe wondering, why is he excited about this? It's a federal program. They're usually pretty boring. This sounds ridiculous. Why do you have tigers on your shirt? But the reason I like this, it's probably one of the most practical programs I've seen. And this is the best part, which again, I do not work for the federal government, or I said, it's not actually an application. And they may call it that, and they may disagree with me and be mad at me, but it's really a 25-minute survey you fill out, maybe 20 minutes if you're fast. But we had a few different business owners go through it. 25-minute survey took everyone 22 minutes on average. You fill it out. You tell them kind of where you're at digitally. Again, you don't have to kind of overthink the answers, because the feds feel like every company could adopt some sort of digital program and get better. And so everyone I've seen who's applied has been approved. And you might be wondering, what is the ceiling to the program? So if you do have more than 500 employees, sadly, you are not eligible. So that's kind of the ceiling. But again, the entry point is you had $500,000 in revenue at one point in the last 3 years. So again, the process to get that money, you go to the website. And Isabel, do you mind putting in the chat that application page? That would be amazing if you would be so kind. Fill out the survey, take 20 minutes. Maybe you're going to do it this afternoon. Usually within a week, you get an approval, and then you're sent to this really cool marketplace where you can pick your digital advisor. So we are one of the many digital advisors. There's people who do cybersecurity digital advising. There's people who do digital advising on kind of CRM adoption or other adoption of different technologies. And then you come up with a plan, which they then reimburse you up to $15,000, which is really, really cool. There's an amazing POS digital advisor who's incredible, by the way. And then you can take that digital plan, and not only can you hire a student for $7,300 that the feds give you, but then you can go to BDC and get an interest-free loan, which is incredible, to implement the strategy that was given to you. Well, I was saying yesterday, there was a program in our province which was just like, here's $7,500, build a website. But the province never vetted the people who built the websites, nor did they tell people how to think strategically before they built the website. So I met countless people whose websites never got finished. The vendors they hired weren't reliable. And sadly, the website they built, they realized, well, I actually realized I didn't really need that. I didn't need a full WordPress site. I really just needed a Squarespace. Or, hey, they put me onto WooCommerce, and really I just needed Shopify. And so they realized they got these overbuilt tools because they never stopped to think before they spent the money. So what I love about this program is that they're allowing people to take good money and put it after good ideas. So huge, huge fan here that way. This is what the application page looks like when you click on that link. You click that yellow button that says start your application. And nothing cool happens, though. You just click it, and it'd be sweet if like or something would happen, but it doesn't happen. You send it in. On average today, people are finding out within 3 to 7 business days that they're approved, which is pretty amazing. These are, again, some of the different types of advisories you can get: CRM, cybersecurity, digital marketing, online presence, which is really cool. Time commitment, because we're all wondering, I don't have time for this. 20 minutes, fill out the application. 1 hour on board with your advisor. 1 hour, provide the access to your advisor. It might be your CRM, your POS system, might be your digital assets. 2 to 4 hours of a presentation of the findings and assessments. 1 to 2 hours, you might want to hire that student for $7,300. You're not forced to, it's an option. And then last but not least, you do the BDC application online. Some of the biggest findings we're finding: SEO audits have been mind-blowing for some people. We've now done 17 of these. SEO has been the biggest kind of finding for small businesses across Canada, ways that they can take on the big ones. Competitor analysis, discovering gems and findings in their competitors that they're like, wow, I can do that. I'm going to apply that to my business. Facebook and Google ad audits. Some of them are already running those ads, and we can just get them from good to great. E-commerce process at it. They realized that some people were almost 50% of the people putting stuff in their carts were getting abandoned. So how do we change that? How do we make that better and get more goods sold? And an online opportunity audit. What are the other opportunities? Maybe Reddit or Quora or Pinterest, places they may not even have looked at, but had a huge, huge opportunity for their brand. On that note, I'm going to pass it over to Isabel, because this, I think, is one of the neatest parts. It's one thing to have a strategy, one thing to have a plan, but who's going to fund it? So Isabel, show us the money. Show us.
So, yes, so I work for BDC. So I'm Isabelle Landry. I'm a senior advisor, as I said earlier. So I'm going to give you the overview of the portion of the program for the 0% interest loan. I'm pretty sure you're all eager to know more about it. So it's important to know that we are, BDC is the only and official partner for the program for the loan portion, obviously. And after you build your approved digital plan, then you can apply for the loan through us. And it's important to understand that when you have done your digital plan, you will have to upload your plan and your invoice to on the ISED website. And when they're going to receive it, review it, they're going to send you an email saying, congratulations, you completed your plan. You're eligible to the hiring student. You're going to have a link for that. And also you're going to have a link for apply for financing. And it's really important that you use that link that they're going to provide you. It's a deep link, so it's a unique link only for you to apply for that loan. And it's the only way to start your application for that 0% interest loan. If you go on BDC website, you will find a platform to apply online, but not for that specific loan. It's the only entrance door. So the feature of the loan, you can see it on your screen. It's a 0% interest loan. It's on 5-year plus 12 months capital postponement. So basically overall it's 6 years, and you can apply until 2026. It's a 4-year program. So you have time to do it. You don't have to rush to do it tomorrow. You have time. And what's important also to know is the amount that you can request depends on the size of your business. So basically, if you're making between $500,000 and $5 million, then you can request a loan between 25 and 50,000. And if you make more than 5 million, then you can request a loan between 25 and $100,000. And also one thing to keep in mind with the process is for the loan, it's the same way as we apply for a regular loan. So keep in mind that you have to meet the CDAP eligibility requirement, but also you have to meet BDC's credit worthiness requirements to get that loan also. And obviously a declined loan request is also reflected in your credit score, which is all part of the consent that you provide when you apply for the loan. What this means is if circumstances change, you're not necessarily also obligated to get the loan from us. So it's a question that we receive a lot is, is it a must? Do I have to take the loan if I sign up for the CDAP? And the simple answer is no. You can make a digital plan, get the grant that covers the costs to develop that digital plan, and you can decide against it after that, saying, oh, I don't need that extra money to implement my digital plan. I don't want it, and that's fine. And another question that we are receiving is, what can I use the money for? The answer also is pretty simple. It's what's in your plan. So basically everything that is on that roadmap that you design with your digital advisor is what is covered, what you can use the money for to implement. So it could include IT equipment, monthly software subscription, training for your staff, hiring people, or just do more further advisory services. So basically it depends on what's in your plan. And it's also important to know that that loan, I know it's a cheap interest loan, it's 0%, so it could be tempting to use it to repay loans that are more expensive, but it's not allowed through that program because, at one point I said can audit, and you might have to provide the proof of expenditure on how you use the money. So it's really important also that you be careful about that and be aware of what the money can be used for. If you have more question or if you want more information about that loan, you can go on bdc.ca. We do have a page about the CDAP, and we built an FAQ, and I'm pretty sure we will have most of the answer that you might have regarding the program. So you can visit us on bdc.ca. So basically, that's what I have to tell you about the loan program, and I'll pass it by to Darian. Sorry. Excuse my English.
No, it's great. It's great. I love it. Isabelle, so cool that this program was designed, and it's brand new. It's only been out for a few months. So I think that's, it's fresh. It's fresh. So I just think, I know it's going to be running for how long is this program running for?
4 years till 2026 so far. That's what we have heard. And I have to say, because we do have some touch point with IZ from time to time, and there's there's a lot of interest from a lot of businesses. So I think it's a really good program.
It's really cool. So that's the end of our time together. It's been 32 minutes. You are amazing. We are so thankful you're here, and you're here to invest in your business, grow your business, develop your business. And so hopefully this is a nice super boost. And this one is the boost your business. So very fitting that we use the word boost in our language. But on the note, if you have any questions, have any thoughts, Isabel and I are both available via LinkedIn. You can go to the website, tons of great, helpful answers. And I know that this conference, this expo, is so thrilled to invest in you to see your business really thrive. And then when you come next year, you can say, man, this is what I did with my business. I took the $100,000 and I did this, and I created this widget factory, and I quadrupled my cat sweater production thanks to what you were sharing here today. And that's going to be so exciting to have you on the stage talking about the growth of your cat sweater company.
Well, when you join, when you come up front and all of a sudden you start speaking and you're hearing about a cat sweater company, I got to tell you, man, you threw me for a loop there. Now, are you making these sweaters out of cat hair, or they're sweaters for cats?
For cats, because it's in certain parts of Canada, it's quite cold in the winters. But if you would like to be an outdoor cat,
yeah. That is fantastic. I thought it was all parts of Canada, but you're right. Some parts are more colder than others. Folks, if you're both still available, I'd love to go through and ask you a couple of questions. Is that all right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Darian, you have this innate passion, and it permeates, like it kind of like drips out of you, right, towards people and uplifting people. Is that something that this is just who you are, or is this something that you've grown into?
Yeah, I grew up with, my dad came over actually as a refugee from Hungary. So he came over and kind of made a life here. He married my mom, who's Métis from Winnipeg. But I watched my dad, my dad created and started these businesses, and I watched the way he treated people, whether it was the guy back in the day when you pumped gas to, waiter to someone he was doing business with. He treated them all the same. And I think I watched that happen. And then I think from my mom, it was watching kind of that innate curiosity for just not just knowledge, but like human stories, and people have the most incredible ideas and visions. And in some cases, if you ever watched Lord of the Rings, there's this mine in it, right? It's called the Mine of Moria, where it's like this incredible deep mine. And if we as humans, one of our coolest jobs we could have is to pull the gems out of people, because sometimes they're hidden, and that might be because of shame or something happened in their past. But if you pull that out, it makes life so much better and so much richer and so much more colorful.
Thank you. And so you see yourself as a miner as well, to pull out the greatness within our DNA.
Yeah, and ideally even within myself, if I can, some days. And
Okay. Well, it's evident, and we're seeing evidence of it. And I'm going to come back to you. So I want to talk about the magazine in just a quick moment. But Isabel, why do you do what you do?
Oh, that's a long story. But basically, I think that just life bring me there. But I have to say that it's a secret, but I don't have any degree in administration or accounting. I studied in communication and journalism, but life bring me to financing. And honestly, I was an account manager for many years, and I love helping entrepreneurs. It was so thrilling and so fulfilling as a job. Then I stick to the BDC because I like their value and how they work with entrepreneur. And now I'm more in the back office. I work at the head office, and I try to develop different product or initiative that could even help more, and so we can do more also.
That is fantastic. And I know that sometimes government agencies get to this rep of having employee number one, but you're not just an employee. This is a life calling. And so thank you for always continuing to invest in others in the way that you're doing. Now, Darian, yes, you are the founding partner of Jelly Digital Marketing and PR Agency. Love the word jelly, and I love the inferences. Like, it's so thick. Just, hey, you just did that. You just did your mic drop. No, you're not about to open up the jelly jar. He did. He opened. Oh no! Oh no! He just did that live on air, ladies and gentlemen. Darian took a lick of jelly. Okay, I didn't. Again, another thing that I never saw in our last session. The word of the day became creepy. Now it became even. There's evidence. Okay, that's fantastic. Now here's the thing. You are also part and a consulting editor, or if you can describe your title, with this magazine launch. Can you tell us about that and your title, and what and why was that important to you?
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. We could probably put a link in the chat as well, but there is now a dedicated magazine for Indigenous entrepreneurs to celebrate them, to tell their stories, to provide resources for, and to really uplift Indigenous entrepreneurs and business leaders right across Canada.
And the link is going in the chat right now. I got to tell you, there was so much we were pushed for a very long time to step into this arena. And you know, one of the hesitations was like, hey, we can help support, but we can't lead because we don't have that living experience. And when you partnered with, let me tell you, the joy that has been created through this process. We're not where we want to be, but what's exciting, we will get there, and we're proud and excited to partner with you to see what we can do to uplift this community. But it's different, right? It's more than just simply telling stories. There's actually real content there that no matter who the reader is, they'll be able to benefit from this. So this isn't like you know, Métis for Métis. This is us for all, and anyone can really lift up this magazine and benefit from it.
And also like take away the stigma of like if people have never met or know or have an Indigenous friend, right, or colleague or worked for an Indigenous organization. It's like, you know, it's like Transformers. It's like more than meets the eye. There's a lot more going on than maybe what or history has shown. And so, and also I love there's an amazing Canadian company called Cheekbone Beauty. It's now at Sephora, really successful Indigenous owned makeup line. But they did a campaign called, you know, Write the Story. And it wasn't WRITE. It was, you know, it was RIGHT. So we wanted to tell a different story, not just the negative stuff you see in the news, but like we have one of the most successful wineries called Indigenous World Winery. It's in West Kelowna, just down the road from Mission Hill in Quails Gate. But it is an incredible winery, great reds, great whites. They just launched spirits as well. So you can get whiskey, vodka, gin, all incredible and Indigenous owned and created.
See, Darren, I have this weird interpretation when I hear things, Isabel. All I heard, Isabel, is that Darian is shipping us some bottles. So producers, Darian is really happy, and he's shipping us a great red and a great white. That's all I heard. Isabel, is that what you want? Is that what you want? So Darian, that's what we hear. Yeah, yep.
Isabel heard that as well. I want a little bit of jelly too, by the way, just saying.
Some gel. Yeah, it's coming. Send me your address. I'll get it to you.
That is fantastic. Both of you, thank you. You know, it's always a pleasure to begin to wrap up day 2. We only have one more session after this. It's always a pleasure to wrap up a session with this type of energy where people can continue to receive. And thank you for participating in this process of uplifting the small business community across Canada. Thank you, one and all.